Namaste to one and all present here. We will begin today's program with a short prayer. I request you all to rise for the school prayer.
Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Guru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
I request all of you to please be seated. Now, I would like to call upon our correspondent, Mrs. Nirmala Raja, to welcome the gathering and introduce our guest speakers for the day.
So it's good to see all of you after the vacation. Welcome back to school. So I'm delighted today to welcome our special guest to school, Mr. Vijay. You have all met Mr. Sanjeev Sanyal, right, last year. So he's a good friend of Mr. Sanjeev Sanyal, and that's how we got introduced to him. Mr. Vijay has done his background in cost management and accounting. I think it's a very envious study group, the ICWA, that many of you aspire for. So his background is that. And he's also done a shipping management also. He's a member of the shipping management from the UK Fellowship. He currently lives in Singapore and is managing his own company called the Mediterranean Shipping Maritime Company. Now, besides this, his passion has been to study about Indian art, the Indian temples, and he's done a lot of deep study. And most of all has been a big contributor to actually recover many of India's lost, stolen art pieces. So he's one of our unsung heroes whom we don't hear of so often, but really people who are contributing so much to the country, and we have a lot of pride and we're grateful to them. So welcome, Mr. Vijay, to our school. We're deeply honored and grateful that you've taken the time to be here. His colleague, Mr. Anand, has come here too today. And yesterday, your fellow students from the 7th grade to the 10th grade had the chance to hear him. And it was a 1.5 session, and believe me, none of us could get up from our chairs. He just held our whole imagination and our interest. And today, I think he's going to do his magic again for all of you. So that's the background. Today I also welcome Mr. Raja, my husband and your chairperson for the school, who's always there to give you the best in learning. So he's there best to provide, and he's here today to hear all this that's happening. So he was excited too when I told him yesterday about the talk. So we welcome him here today. Another very special, graceful lady that we have in our midst today, Mrs. Nina Kotari. She's one of my very close friends. And I've been wanting to invite her to come and see our school since a long time, and I think this has been the muhurtam for her to come today. And I'm grateful that she could make it here today. She's doing a lot of good work in the city for a lot of women organizations, like the Craft Council, the IWA. She's doing a lot of work behind the scenes and leading these organizations. So we welcome him here today. Thank you, Nina. We also have a parent, ex-parent, as close as just a few months ago, Mr. Krishna Maharaja, Prahalad's father. So he's also a part of Sanjeev's group when we last met. So I wanted him here to be in the school because this is his school too, as always. So welcome, Anand. So with these few words, on behalf of all my students, teachers, Mr. Nagarajan, the principal, my senior coordinators, a warm welcome, Mr. Vijay. Over to you.
Afternoon class. That's good. I think we all had good lunch today. It's not often we get to sit in the front benches because I don't know about Arvind. I was always in the last bench or standing out. So just to start up, we did a session yesterday for your lower class, and I was thinking maybe that, okay, can everybody hear me? That's great. So today we are going to split this into 3 sessions. We were initially thinking of doing it in 2 sessions, skip the yesterday's one, but usually we get repeat, right? When you do a good job, I hope it's a repeat. So we're going to do it in 3 parts, and depends on your feedback and interaction. So this is not a classroom. We don't want you to be quiet. There'll be no shh here. You can stop us anytime, put up your hand, ask questions, answer questions, and we'll call upon volunteers to come and demonstrate some things that we cannot demonstrate because of the size. And if you don't, then I'll pick, right? Okay, the first part is more to do with storytelling. So how many of you have read Amar Chitra Kada? Very good. How many of you still read Amar Chitra Kada? That's good. And who told you your first story? So how many people put up for grandfather? Grandmother? Yeah, that's nice. I would put my hand up as well for the grandmother. I heard a lot of bedtime stories from my grandmother. And you know what these stories do? At a subconscious level, they teach you what? Morals. It's very important in today's world where everybody is chasing money. At some point there has to be some goodness in you, and all these stories leave you with that feeling of goodness. So most of what we are going to see is the good and the bad examples. So we are going to go back in time. We're going to go back in time, not 100, not 200, not 1000, but you're going to go back in time 2000 years ago. America is how old? How old is India? Which is the oldest object you have touched in your house? Man-made. So imagine we are going to see the work of creators who did things that have lasted for 2,400 odd years. So breaking the norm, the first slide is going to be, next. How many of you read Tamil here? Okay, read. Nigarala Kalaike. வளர்த்த அரசர்களுக்கும் இன்றும் நம் குலதனங்களை மதித்து ரசனுடன் பார்க்கும் ரசிகன். All of you, Samarpanam. Okay, we do it in English as well. Dedicated to the unknown artists. Why unknown? They hardly signed their works. Yeah, they let their work speak for themselves. They never autographed. They never signed their initials. They just did their work and quietly left the space for their work to prevail. What work did they do? We are going to see. So we're going to see, how many of you have gone to Maharashtra? To Ajanta? Very good. So this is Ajanta in good times. Ajanta in bad times will be this in black and white. All the plants would have died in the harsh summer, like Chennai summer. So now this is a natural creation, there is a waterfall on the left which is actually heft the rock into the shape of a horseshoe. And into these are carved man-made caves. When you say man-made caves, these caves are of one block of stone. So yesterday I was talking, when we were kids, our favorite hobby in school was cutting the eraser. Yeah, you cut, right? So that is called reducing. How many of you sculpt in clay? Yeah, so you add. So you want to make a nose in clay, you put a piece and add. So that is adding. But if you have to do it in rubber, you have to reduce rock. It's much more difficult. Why? Because you have zero margin for error. So if a nose get cut, you have to take another eraser. But imagine in rock, and this would have been a lifetime's work for an artist. And how big did he create it? And that's the waterfall. And imagine that's the size, and everything that you see there, including the pillars, is of the original rock. So it's not like building your brick. No, when your mason builds a wall or a pillar, he puts bricks. This is not that way. They have to cut. So when they cut, they have to ensure there is space for the pillar, and then not just pillar. This pillar is not blocked out. We go near, it's artistically embellished pillar, ornamented pillars. And not only that, they didn't stop at that. It has got amazing sculptures, and all these were brilliantly painted upon. So they used to use quite a white type of limestone mortar to make a base like a canvas, and before it dries they have to apply natural dyes and paint, and these paints still today retain their colors and design. And what you see there is probably the most iconic painting in Ajanta, the Buddha as Bodhisattva Padmapani. Now there are some complicated terms, but very easy to decipher. I'm sure you all have a little bit of Sanskrit. Padma is who? Not Padma. Anybody Padma here? No Padmas. Padma is lotus. So he's holding a lotus in his hand. Now imagine the way he's standing. Is he standing normally? How is he standing? He is slanting, one slant or two slant or three slant. So yesterday we had a dancer who came and demonstrated the way he is standing. So who is a dancer here? Anybody who is a Bharatanatyam dancer? Otherwise I will have to demonstrate and you will not see any curves. You will only see a block. Come on, let's see. Come out. Thank you. What's your name? Come in front. So I want you to mimic the posture of the Bodhisattva. So take a look. So what you have to do is very easy. Come on stage, turn, face the audience. Now your hip goes to the left. Yeah? And then your body slants torso to the right and the head the other way. The head goes other way. Yes. So how many axes is she bent? Hold the pose till we say. That's very nice. She's done a good job. 3. This is called triple flexion. In English it's called contrapposta. This you will see. Hold. Imagine these artists, when they were painting, they had a live mod. Till he finishes that painting, you would have to pose like this. Yeah. So most of it were painted live models, and this in our tradition is called Tribhanga. And the opposite of that is me standing, Samabhanga. No, old photograph, your grandfather will stand. That's Tribhanga, Samabhanga. This is Tribhanga. Thank you. You did a great job. On the side, you see a Buddhist construction. So don't get drawn into religion. We are going to see a mixture of all the great religions of India. What are all the great religions of India? So we have a sprinkling of Jainism, you have a sprinkling of Buddhism and a sprinkling of Hindu Kathas, plus we will also see a religion that's long forgotten in the second session. So now we are going to see a little bit of paintings. Next. So all these paintings in Ajanta are now reduced to the state of graffiti because we didn't take care of our history. Ajanta was forgotten till there was a British Madras regiment on a tiger hunt. While they were chasing a tiger, they came across these caves and Ajanta was rediscovered. Such beautiful space. we had forgotten. Sorry. I'm sorry for that. So now all these walls are painted with the life stories of the Buddha. What are they called? Jataka tales. Anybody remember Jataka tales? So we're going to see one very interesting Jataka tale, and it's going to be a quiz for you. I will show you the Jataka tale. You have to find out what the Jataka tale is. Before that, how many of you are artists and painters here? How many of you paint? The hands are not coming fully. This is what, half painter? This is good painter. Very good. Now, this is a black apsara as descending from the heaven. It's a very important painting if you are a connoisseur of art. This is, you can say, what is this half painting? What is so great in this, right? First of all, imagine this lady is descending from the heaven, and somebody has called her. So she's half motion, she's turned and she's looking behind. You see her eyes turned the side. You see her necklace. What's happening to her necklace? It's swaying. So you get life, motion into the painting. Yeah. And then the most difficult thing to show in art is the concept of dimension. So her earrings, is she wearing square or circular earring? Circular. How do you know it's circular? But he's painted it on a flat wall. So how does he give you that? It's called perspective. So he has already attended this session. So now it's just two lines, right? The two lines, he's made it look like a circle. Now we go closer. So those days they did their eyebrows as well. You see, the painter, it's just one stroke of the brush. He has to paint the eyelid, the eyebrow. Plus, you look at the way the necklace beads are. It starts small and towards the center grows big. That gives you the perspective. So as we see this, we are talking about 1600 to 1700 year old painting. The artist at that time itself knew these techniques. Yeah. And the dress, is it contemporary? Yeah. So you girls, you're not creative. You see, we boys, we have new styles. You copy and wear 1500 year old styles. Even the designs are old. Now you look at the bull there. The bull look like charging at you, right? It looks like it's coming at you. How does the painter get that? This technique is called foreshortening, meaning the back side of the bull, he is depicted slightly smaller. The head is bigger. So that gives you the idea that the bull is coming out. So all these techniques are creating space. It gives you an idea that it is an action picture. We will see more examples as we come. Again, you look at the elephant on top, you will see that the elephant's shading is there. It's another important activity. You see the folds of the skin. It's actually not fold, right? It's just a flat picture, but it gives you an idea of the folds in the skin. And these are all techniques that you can use in your day-to-day art to get it better life, so that the painting springs out. So now we are going to the trick question. If I tell you this is a Jataka tale, you will say, hey, this is some Picasso style artist doodling on the wall. So we go down and look closer. Now this is a line drawing, and what we are going to see here, I'm going to give you some clues. Let's see who can pick this up. Now here, what is this? A monkey with a rope, and monkey is walking on it. And here there is a archer shooting at the monkey, and here there is a cloth canvas into which a monkey is fallen. No idea? Okay, we go near now. Now the Ajanta artist was very different in the sense that he didn't do it like your Amachatakada, because he did not have so many pages. He had only one small wall. So what he used to do, he used to paint by scene. So if it is like a forest scene, all the acts happening in the forest scene will follow in that. Since you know the story, you have to pick what you have to see. Now this story, if I tell you, you will all remember. Mango, monkey, not crocodile. This is not that simple. That is also there. So now, here, this story, go next, Sarva, is again depicted in sculpture. This is again 2000-year-old sculptures. We have the same story, the narrative storyboard. Still no remembrances? Okay. Actually, yesterday's class got the marks. You guys are too studious, I think. You have not referred your Amachita Kathas too early. Remember the story? The Monkey King. So the Monkey King, actually he's tied his rope here and he's formed a bridge. So the mango falls into the river. The king likes the mango, sends his warriors to find, and they go after the monkeys, and the king tries to save them. Finally, one bad monkey jumps on his head and he falls down. The king is impressed by the monkey's valor. He orders his people to offer it. Next page. Next. Offer it first aid. And this story is today in Amachita Katha, but it's there since 2000 years old. So if you know the story, you can appreciate it better. Yeah? Fine. So now we go to something simpler. Dasavatar. All of us know Dasavatar. Now the idea is not to test your Dasavatar stills. I want you to understand how the sculptor got the story and he depicts it. Before that, we are going to show you the masterpiece of Ellora. It's now called Verul Caves. Anybody been to Ellora? You've been to Ellora, the Kailasnatha temple. So you keep quiet now. So this one is, what do you see? An elephant eating. It's single block of stone. Next. So row of elephants. Look at the scale, almost lifelike. Keep going. Pointer. That's the scale. Then those are the elephants. The elephants are here. And this entire structure. So the people are here. So imagine how tall the structure is carved out of the hill as a single piece. It's 8th century, 1200 years ago, and that's how it looks from the front. So Arvind will explain how to trench a temple. Come.
So here, what the artist or the architect or the group of architects would have designed or could have conceived this in their imagination, they have conceived in their imagination, and it is not a single tier. There are multiple tiers. There are at least 3 tiers of floors. So you can go from first floor, ground floor to the first floor and to the second. 3 tiers of floors, and within those tiers there are multiple chambers or rooms that you would call. You have a walkway, you have a lobby to walk through, and it is ornamented. Apart from the main structure, there are additional structures, and with these pillars, there are 2 pillars, elephants on either side, large elephants, and narrative panels. So all these are first conceived and then start trenching from top down. You reach from the top. So first piece that you would come up is the shikara. So they first trench that and then start excavating or removing away the other pieces so that they leave behind what is required. So do you have the shot of from the top, the lions, prancing lions above? That's the one that I'm referring to. On the here, if you look at it, there are lions here. These are all prancing lions. So these were also left behind as part of when they were carving. So the perspective that one needs to have is from looking from top. How do I remove these and get this? When you look at, the viewer is going to view this from beneath, and you are going to define it from the top. So that's the very difficult part of it, to imagine how it would be without you looking from that angle. So how would have they done it? So not that we would have answers to all the questions that we are looking for, but you create as many questions as you want, and those are what you need to pursue. You would get the answer sometime, or someone else will come up with the answers for these. But it is question of creating or having those questions with you and pursuing for those answers will keep you in good stead. Okay. In Kailasnatha, at the front entrance to the Kailasnatha, you have the depiction of various Dasavatara. Can you identify which one is this? How many Vamanas? How many are saying Vamana? How many are you saying it's Varaha? What is Vamana? Short. Short. How does this look? Varaha. It's the pig. Can you guess this? Narasimha. That was easy. Okay. So Hiranyakashipu. So Narasimha is there. It's on the entrance. Where did it happen? Narasimha Avatar. Where? What was the rule for killing Hiranyakashipu? Yeah. Say it.
Neither at home nor outside.
Neither at home or outside. So this is at the gate, at the entrance. So they have this. Okay. This is in one of this cave is called Dashavatara cave, which is not part of the Kailasnatha, but slightly about 3 caves away. And you have this particular sculpture. This has lot of sculptures, and this is one of the reliefs. And these are, if you can imagine, the height of it is over 10 foot, 12 foot close to. So this is a very large, larger than life like. And what do you see? If someone, without knowing the story, if you're looking at it, as if 2 people are dancing. But if you move on closer, you will see that the outstretched limbs and the way he has got pinned down, one of the hands holding his head, and he is immobile, while he has other hands free, while the Vishnu or Narasimha has his hands free, while Hiranya is completely pinned down. That is what you will see, and this looks more like a ballet rather than, and it is all in motion. Every piece is in motion. That is the beauty of this sculpture. Okay. Again, what is this? Do you know what this iconography? You could have seen this in most of the temples. Okay, here we have written. This is Lingodbhava. What does Lingodbhava mean? Okay, let me give you quickly. Shiva comes in a form of flame, appears before Brahma and Vishnu, and they are asked to find where he starts and where he ends. So Vishnu wants to look at where his foot is, and he goes digging as a Varaha, and Brahma flies up as in a swan to figure out where his head finally ends up at. So both give up at the end. That's the story. But here again, Varaha is being depicted. Have you been to Kanchipuram? How many of you have been to Kanchipuram? Very good, large number. How many of you been to this temple? Right. So what is so special about this temple? Paya Kanchipuram, correct. So what is so special about this temple? So which dynasty built this temple? Pallavas, good. So it is done by Rajashima Pallava in 8th century. This is one of the earliest structural temples. The C, common era. It's not, huh?
Common era.
AD. Common era.
We've stopped using that.
AD, Anno Domini, and
Now we are saying it's more secular when you call
common
it
era and before common era.
It's
the same.
but it's not referring to one religion.
Okay. So this is the earliest known structural temple in Tamil Nadu. How do you define a structural temple? It is built with blocks of stone or any other form of material. It could be stone, or it could be bricks. So this is a depiction of the same Lingodbhava in Kailasnatha. Here you see Shiva Here you see Varaha, and here you see Brahma going up. They are shown, Brahma and Vishnu are shown in their natural form, and they are also shown as they ascend, and they are depicted multiple times. In Indian sculpting and iconography, or even in painting, the same character is repeated twice or thrice within the same frame or within the same depiction, doing different acts. So it is not that once the person is there and as one at one point is not duplicated or replicated at some other place. You will see this happening in a lot of places in Indian art. This is Narasimha again from Kailasnatha. This is not the Kailasnatha of Ellora, this is Kailasnatha of Kanchi. Here you again see Narasimha's limbs are free, Hiranyakashipu's